at to where you want to be. But I find with high economic people is if you feel like you're making the most out of every day, then you're going to be happy. Like, even if you don't have the exact result yet, you're going to feel better because you don't feel like you're wasting time. I find when I'm coaching someone that's high economic, they get cranky if they feel like they're wasting their time. Yeah. And so you need to have that like certainty that, okay, this is moving me forward. Yeah.
So cool.
Yes. And then the second one we're talking about is theoretical. So it has all these books here because people who are theoretical, they love to learn. These are the people in Tukama Club who are just like, well, I want to watch every video, read every book. Like, we recommend a book. They're the ones that...
They've read it twice before the day's out, yeah.
Exactly. Like, Melanie's husband, Ken, is very high theoretical. And, like, he is, like, knows so much about so much. Like, I always joke I would never play Trivial Pursuit with someone who's high theoretical because they
don't know it all.
They would. They're like, they know about trees, they know about cars, that's their passion, they love to learn. So like someone that's high economic like you, and then you're high, because you're fairly high theoretical, it's not like your second value. But like you want to learn, because you love learning, you want to
for the ROI.
Exactly.
If there's no ROI, I don't want to know anything about it.
I'm not going to get Russell a book like on trees for Christmas.
I know, I always feel bad because some people get in conversation, they can have a conversation about 40 different things. I think it's the theoretical people, whereas me, it's like, there's like 3 things I actually care about. I know everything about those 3 things. Everything else I just like blank over when they start talking to me about the trees or whatever, the weather. I'm like, I got nothing.
Exactly. But a theoretical, they'll talk for hours, right? So if you're high theoretical, you want to make sure that you're learning every day. Like I tell people who are high, theoretical, like if they feel guilty about going back to school or something, like that's what they value. That's what they get charged and excited. They're the ones that like want to learn a new language or a new dance.
12 master degrees.
Exactly.
See my doctorate now.
Yes, it makes them happy, right? It does. Just like making money or getting that ROI makes you happy, that makes them happy, right? So political. This shows up a lot in Inner Circle as well, and I believe it's one of your top values. So people that are high political, it means you value leadership. You value responsibility, like you want to be in charge. Like, can you imagine Russell working for anybody else?
I'd be a bad employee.
Right? Exactly. People who are high political, they like that responsibility. I had a client years ago, one of my oldest clients, who was in his 80s, and he hired me because he was depressed. He was like, I don't think I need therapy. I'm feeling kind of blue, and I don't know what it is. All I did was I had him take the disc. He was very high political, and he had a high position in a company, and he was retired, and he was bored. And so all I did was like, you need to be in charge of something. So we got involved with Kiwanis, and he became like the president in a year. Yeah, and he's like, now I'm happy again. So I say with high political people, you always need to be in charge of something. Like it's important, it's what you value. Robbie Summers, high political, that's why he loves that responsibility. Someone who's lower political, they're not going to enjoy that as much because they don't value it as much. Yeah. By the way, whatever we value, we tend to be really good at. You value high economic, you're very good at it. Someone who's high value, theoretical, they're very knowledgeable. Someone's high value political, they're going to be a good leader, manager. So when it comes to hiring and you want someone that's going to have like a lot of responsibility, you want to see where their value is on political as well. Yeah. And then I got Mel Gibson in here twice. Individualistic, another word for individualistic is freedom. So, and this is really common too in the Inner Circle, people who value, freedom. They want to set their own schedule. I'm very high individualistic. Like I love to be free. I could be able to do my coaching calls with whiskey at my feet. It's my dog.
The dog.
Not the drink. Not a raging alcoholic, okay? It's just my dog. So they value freedom. So if you have people on your team that are amazing and you want to keep them on your team, they're really high value individualistic, you want to ask them, what does freedom look like for you? So like someone who's higher individualistic, lower economic, they're going to care more about having freedom than making money. So that's like Ryan and Bradley, who are in the Inner Circle. They value freedom more than they do money, even though they're in the financial field. And so now they're creating their business to be around that conversation around freedom, because that's what they value.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so the worst thing you can do to someone who's high individualistic is have them not feel free.
Get scheduled, like 8 to 5, and you can't be late. And
can't be late. Like a bunch of rules. Like we need to have, and if they're high individualistic and low C, then they really need to be able to have that space and that freedom. So yeah. And then we got regulatory. I tried to find a good picture. This is from Fiddler on the Roof. I wasn't the best picture, but yeah, so tradition. You don't want me singing. High regulatory people, they like, this is the way that you should live life. So it could show up in religion, spirituality, CrossFit, diet, like vegans can be really high, like this is how you should live, political, Democrat, Republican, like people who are high regulatory, they really believe this is how you should live. I had a client who was very high regulatory and he was in AA and he was sharing with me how he got pressure for missing his Monday meetings that kept him sober for 25 years. And it really angered him because he was like, they didn't get, like his friends didn't get, I can't miss this Monday meeting. And it's so important. Like you don't ever want to push someone who's high regulatory, high traditional to against whatever they believe. Like it'll break rapport. You really want to respect. So like if you have employees or staff who are high regulatory and they have like a unique way of eating or religion or spirituality or whatever, you really want to respect that model of the world because it's important to them. It's what they value. It's what they care about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so cool.
Yeah. And then we got, here we got Melanie. Melanie, hashtag Mother
Melanie's
Teresa.
my sister, by the way. Those are
Yes.
Melanie.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Everybody knows Melanie, right? You follow Insta stories. So altruistic. So people who are high altruistic, they have to feel like they're helping. Like they're making a difference, they're serving. So I have a picture of Mother Teresa here because she's like the epitome of altruistic. Melanie is very high altruistic, so she cares more about making sure that she's making a difference and helping more than anything else. If she feels like she's helping and serving, she's happy. If she doesn't feel like she is, she's not happy because it's like that's her values and that's what she's driven by. And that's why like people who are high altruistic, they're going to make different decisions than let's say someone who's high economic. Right? And so this is why it takes all types to make this work, right? And so that makes sense. You have anything to add on that?
No, it's perfect.
Okay. And then we got high aesthetic, which I'm pretty sure Brandon is.
Brandon's running the video cameras right now.
Yes. Pretty sure Brandon is high aesthetic, who's helping me. You might not like the way my hair is right now, Brandon. So high aesthetic, they value beauty and harmony. And you're actually higher than the average. So if you look at your bar graph, if you're like you see the bars of the average, you know, that's usually aesthetic is usually the lowest in our American culture. We tend to be more high economic and political, but high aesthetic people, they value beauty.
It's like designers are high. So for
Yes.
me, like I suck at doing design, but I'm obsessed over design. That's why all of our funnels look so good. Like why we put all this money, put a brick wall in TV, because like I want our videos to look cooler when we were doing this stuff. Because anyway, so it's like anyone that values the beauty of something, which is why you're getting designers or video people, like they need to be obsessed with this, or else you're gonna have ugly looking stuff.
Exactly. People who are high aesthetic, like my bestie's very high aesthetic, so she helps me dress. Bart Miller, high aesthetic, so he picked out this outfit. I didn't pick it out.
This is a Bart shirt and Bart pants.
Thank you, Bart.
Thank you.
So we need Bart for the
I'm wearing
help.
flip flops and my t-shirt right now.
Exactly. I'd come in my sweats if I could. So like they value that beauty and harmony, and they're really like, talk about the artist. People who are really high aesthetic, they value art as well. Like I don't know if you know John Parks is really high aesthetic, and I didn't know that he was such an amazing dancer. I don't know if you guys know John Parks can cut a rug.
He's amazing.
Yeah, and I was like, John, where does this aesthetic show up? And I didn't know he had this passion for dancing. And so if you're high aesthetic, you need to make sure that you give yourself permission to have that time to be able to pursue whatever your passion is. Or like for you, you know, you made your office prettier, because people who are high aesthetic, you feel better if you're in a beautiful space, and you feel better if you could be able to spend time to do what it is that you value, whether it be dancing or music or arts or whatever it may be. Yeah. So that's the values, and that's it for the values in the disc. I like to end on that, because this is all about the more that you know who you are as far as your disc, as far as how you communicate and what you value, the more you can be able to enjoy this journey of building an empire, joining Two Comma Club, but doing it in a way that really serves you.
Yeah, I think for so many people, the reason I love sharing this stuff because a lot of times I think we're such turmoil with ourselves, with how we think we're supposed to be, that most people never get to the spot where they can serve and help, because there's so much in this internal just battle with themselves of like what the view of society or their parents or their friends made them think who they are. And I know for me, like I always thought I was a dumb person growing up. I had all these things that kept me. It wasn't until I started becoming more aware of these things, I was like, oh, like I'm okay the way I am. Like I'm great. Like I was designed by God in this way where like these are the gifts I have, and like being okay with that. And then what's cool about it, when you're okay with it, then like it releases yourself to like, okay, this is my zone of genius. But I'm really bad at these things. Let me find the right people. And then you start, after you like unlock it from yourself, then you start looking at other people differently too, where all of a sudden it's not like, oh, this person's a Republican or a Democrat, or this person, whatever the skews we have in society. But instead it's like, oh my gosh, like if you were on my team, you would be able to help people this way and this way. And as we start focusing on building your own team, like which is the next phase of this, after you kind of figure out yourself and unlock and free yourself from the things that keep us back, then it's like finding other people, and if you can help them unlock that themselves and help them become comfortable in their superpower, then it comes back to Avengers, like all good things should. Now you can build this Avenger team and go and conquer the world. But there's no way that I could have built ClickFunnels. There's no way that any of these things have happened without us really understanding these personalities and all of us becoming like okay and happy and like grateful for the gifts we have, and then using that to build something amazing where we can now serve way more people. And so that's the biggest reason why I keep bringing these things is first it's going to free yourself, and second off it's going to help you to free others, and then be able to leverage that to get the ROI you need, or the aesthetic thing you need, or the regular, whatever it is you need to feel the way you need to feel. Now you know how to unlock that for yourself. And like we mentioned earlier, it also helps in your personal relationships, in your marriage, with your kids, with your wife, your spouse, your people you're potentially dating. Like if I was to go back in time, I'd be like, you want to go date with me? Take out this quiz real quick, and then you show up, okay, they're high regulatory and high I, like you know how to communicate. Like it just changes so much when you understand where people are coming from. So thank you so much for spending like 10 years of your life mastering this and understanding it, and helping so many of the people in our community personally one-on-one with it now through this with everyone in the 2 Comma Club X. I love it. I'm so grateful for you doing this for everybody.
That's been a blast. Thank you for having me. This has been awesome.
Heck yeah. All right, so down below in the video we will have a spot where you can take the test. If you haven't, we'll have links to the slides and pictures and the stuff, and some more information for you guys. But make sure you watch this video, watch it with your team, watch it with your spouse, and watch it, like she said, more than once, because there's more things you'll pick up every single time. So thanks, Mandy. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.